Hello and welcome back to another Played to Order. Today we are playing Kid Icarus on the original Nintendo. Thanks to Ron in Florida for picking up this game along with a bunch of other classic NES games. I wish I could pull them all out and play them, but do not have time. So we picked Kid Icarus because that has kind of been, in the last few years, one of the hotter properties Nintendo had. Maybe because it sat dormant for quite a few years. So you star an angel named Pit, and the point of the game is to defeat these enemies, get a couple items to save the, is it Goddess Palutena? Hearts are your currency for defeating enemies. So the interesting thing about Kid Icarus is it is obviously a classic Nintendo series, but kind of was outside the box in that the platforming, which it is pretty much a straight platformer, is vertical instead of horizontal, like most scrolling platformers are ever since Super Mario Brothers. Not sure what's in this room. But yeah, even ever since then, I can't really name that many vertical platformers. Kid Icarus is the main one that comes to mind. And it really is a classic. I have not played it for years and years and years, so it's going to be a little rough coming back to it. But yeah, the other thing about Kid Icarus is because of the vertical platforming, it would get a little bland if it was all in the same thing. Whoop. Oh, lucky me. The harp is basically the invincibility star. But yeah, it has kind of like old Pac-Man. Scroll to one side and you go to the other. Oh. And you're finished. Not quite Mortal Kombat style, but nonetheless, you lose a life, sort of. I don't know, can't remember if Kid Icarus has lives or not, because it is a longer game. Somewhere in between kind of the Zelda, and I would put it kind of in between Zelda and Mario, where it's kind of like Zelda as a platformer. And Pit finally, well, kind of, I think what renewed interest in this game recently was Pit being included in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Like a lot of newer, I shouldn't say newer IP, but resurgence or introductions to a lot of gamers. And their characters and their franchises come from Super Smash Bros. We've seen it time and time again in that oh no. Sorry. Time and time again that Super Smash Bros. Adds a character that was kind of once forgotten, and the next year or two, all of a sudden they have a new game kind of a weird coincidence. I don't know if they actually planned that the very first time when Marth was in Super Smash Bros. Melee. He got wildly popular, and the Nintendo finally brought over Fire Emblem to the US. It's been many years in Japan, but they finally brought it over to the US after Marth's huge popularity in the Melee. It also, NES added a huge amount to Earthbound craze. I do not think that Earthbound would be what it is and the following it has without NES being in that game. I really don't. Earthbound does. I mean, it definitely stands on its own, but I still think it would be pretty obscure to most people without him being in Smash Brothers. So you got two examples there, and then the most recent one here is Kid Icarus, where he was in Super Smash Bros. Brawl because they had a pretty expanded roster of characters, and Pit actually made it. The funny thing is, the reason I say maybe this was planned this time. Ooh, some nasty slowdown with it. All these sprites on the screen. Do not remember this in this game. Wow. Get rid of some of those sprites so we can start playing again. I think they planned it this time by... Oh, a little slippery there. I think they planned it a little bit this time with their characters, because Pit was in Brawl, and then the same company that makes Smash Brothers, the same developer, all of a sudden has a new Kid Icarus game in the works. Funny how that worked out. From all accounts, the 3DS game that came out with this, the new Kid Icarus game, was very good. And very long. You really get your value out of it, I guess. But it's more of a shooter and less of a platformer. I think there is some action platforming of some sort in there. But it's mostly a kind of a hack and slash and shooter. Flying around shooting things in the sky. I've really wanted to play it. We recently picked up a brand new copy, but and I sat there looking at it, deciding if I wanted to open up and finally play this game, and then Bravely Default happened. So it'll be probably a while before I really have to sit down and try and make that decision again, and then we probably won't have the game back in stock, because it is kind of getting harder to find, at least in a new condition. I wonder how well it actually sold. When they first announced it, everybody freaked out. Like they were the biggest Kid Icarus fans in the world, but I don't really know if that was a thing. I was more cheering that finally Nintendo's actually doing something with older franchises. Not so much Kid Icarus. I really like Kid Icarus, but don't know what that meant. I think it is a kind of a guess. Pick a pot, you might win something, you might not. And I did not, probably. So these Grim Reaper guys, they don't actually attack you, they have minions that come down and I don't know if there's a way to actually kill them or not. I have no idea, I don't remember. You probably do want to kill most enemies that you can, get as much hearts as you can. There, I beat that first level. Finally. Finally beat the first level. But yeah, you probably want to get as much stars... hearts, I should say. As you can, because that's your currency, that's where you buy stuff. I wonder if that comes into play with power-ups, not just healing items, where it might have come into play on your progression in the game. Don't know. I do have to say, sometimes you really have to get your head in this game about the scrolling over the screen, where enemies can go right off the right side onto the left. And sometimes you have to think about platforming. That doesn't really make sense, but all of a sudden it hits you that, oh yeah, I can just wrap around the screen. I like the look of it. There's not too many games out there that have this kind of aesthetic. Whoa. Funny faces are fast and furious. They are strange enemies. I will give them that. I'm not sure what they were going in their mind. Like, let's have snakes and stuff where, you know, that these kind of... You would think of snakes as, if you're talking about angels, as a bad thing. A negative light. So it makes sense that they're an enemy compared to an angel. But do not know how those guys fly with their mustaches. That one puzzles me. Okay, so the small hearts are worth 1 heart, and the half big hearts are worth 5? There's not much range to his arrow. His bow and arrow. But I think that is a power-up at some point. Do not have enough hearts. See, this is why we should have been killing everything, maybe farming some hearts. Do not have any, not even half of them to get anything. Oh, okay. So, I hit my head on that block, and then I could not control myself to come back. Hit must have lost consciousness just for a second there on what he was doing. Could not control his motor functions. Because you hit your head on a block, probably didn't feel too hot. They are rather long levels compared to Super Mario Brothers. So when you die, it kind of sucks to go all the way back to the back. And it's not vertical scrolling platformer. It just does not feel as fast. And that is a downside. Oh. Yeah, they must not have lives in this game. I didn't think so, but I wasn't sure. So like right now, You're kind of sitting there avoiding guys and stuff, shooting them, waiting for them to come down. And you're clearly, like, waiting for them just to get in range for you to kill them. Which, it's not quite like a Super Mario Brothers where you can just kind of run over there and jump on them. So it does have some speed issues where when it was Nintendo vs. Sega, that was the big thing, speed. And they'd use it against Mario. Saying Mario wasn't fast compared to Sonic, which it wasn't, but if you put Sonic up against this, there's just no comparison. And that glitched, I guess. I didn't get that one. You always gotta keep your eye out on where things are coming and where things are falling, where things are flying around. It certainly is a little bit more to keep up with than a normal vertical scroller. Boy, just not doing it today on Kid Icarus. Wonder what all those numbers... Oh, those must be passwords. Kid Icarus does have that awesome music that it's one of the classic Nintendo ones. Probably most people hear Super Mario Brothers and they know that song immediately. They've maybe heard this one, but they don't really know where it's from. But still one of those, if you're going to build a classic Nintendo remix or something like that, this has to be one. Looks like these guys just have all patterns. You just have to those people, whoever those faces are, they must be some real tortured souls. One thing that does bother me about Kid Icarus is that, I mean, he's an angel, he's got wings and everything, and he's a vertical platformer, yet he cannot fly or even hold himself like a Yoshi or something like that. Which is a big bummer to me, I think. But that would maybe make the game way too easy. Okay, so this is where I died last time. And this is kind of where I'm talking about how the screen wrap kind of messes with you if you don't think about it. You really have to think about the mechanics, because I was trying to figure out how to jump over from here to the right. When obviously, you just go around. And then this guy, you just wrap right around over here too. Which he promptly kills you. I did not know that they could hurt you. Learn something every run. With no lives like this, it is kind of like a... I don't want to say roguelike, I guess. But, because nothing really changes. Nothing really generated. But it is kind of like a dungeon crawler. Oh, not even one off the bat. This is going to be rough on me. When they appear in in the block and I can't even get him. Which that sucks. I mean, there's much worse bugs back in the day than that, but oh, and then you walk right out. Much worse bugs, but still, when you see something like that and you can't get it like that, that's annoying. I think I'm gonna avoid that room now because I'm not really going for hearts. I'm not gonna play this beyond another few minutes anyway, so what is the point of the hearts? Not doing too well on this run either. A little bit of ice. All these blue platforms are ice. Which, if you're that far above the clouds, there's probably some probably pretty cold. Just wanted to see what's in here. More faces. It's the exact same room, I think. Oh. Yep. Are we gonna beat the second level? Never bet on me. Never bet on me beating anything. Wait, I don't know. Yeah. So I can't shoot arrows across the screen. Which is too bad. I'm out of here. Don't have time to deal with all those faces. Pit, why can't you just fly up to the top? That'd be really helpful of you. And to prove that, get over here. This one out of here. Oh, that's a good way to get rid of that Grim Reaper. Icy platforming. Never not fun, right? At least better than our last video, Alex Kidd, where platforming was all ice and everything felt on ice even though when it wasn't on ice. Yeah, these levels are extremely long. It's kind of a bummer when you aren't very good. But you can power up, and that you eventually do get better. Just with items, not so much skill. And I suppose once you get a certain pattern recognition down. Oh, what was I doing? That's the way to kill those guys. If you can get them all right in a row right away. Kind of shooter style. A lot of shooters, things come out in a formation kind of like that. But then they really deviate from that pattern. At least these guys do. And they follow you quite a ways before they give up. Oh yeah. Slow motion. That's the other thing that Mario games do not really have to worry about is, I mean, you did have things that fall on you, but not near like this. Not being able to see stuff like that gets a little egregious. I'm finished! Which is perfect words for the end of this video. We did not make it to the second level. If you had money on that, you are a very bad gambler. Like I said, should not bet on me. But, yeah, I'd like to thank Ron again from Florida for picking up this game. You will have a ton of fun with it if you have not played Kid Icarus before. I'm guessing you have. But, here you go. Here it is for you to enjoy it again. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, we make videos 2 or 3 times a week on these. And all these games are ordered from the website, either rented or purchased. And that's why we do this show, because we have to test them out. So if you want to see your favorite game, that's the way you should probably go about doing it. Anyway, Ron, your game's on your way. Everyone else, have a good one. Bye.